Everything you thought was finished is coming back. Not in the way Jujutsu Kaisen has ever done before. Chapters 15 and 16 don't open with answers. They open with a goodbye, a forbidden choice, and a power that starts breaking the rules in real time, and you can feel it immediately. Gege isn't escalating the story here. He's reminding you why getting attached in Jujutsu Kaisen is always a mistake. Two battles ignite. One decides the fate of Tokyo. The other decides whether peace was ever possible. This is the moment Modulo stops pretending to be something else. Let's break down chapters 15 and 16 of Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo. Chapter 15 opens with Yuka. As she approaches the airplane, her vision begins to blur. A sharp pain pulses through her head. Mino notices immediately and gently offers her a wheelchair. Yuka doesn't argue. She quietly accepts. That alone tells us how bad her condition has become. Inside the plane, Yuka stares into nothingness and begins reflecting on her life. She idly thinks, "If I were born again, I think I'd like to be born as an older sister." She remembers her childhood with Tsurugi. For 16 years, she's lived as the younger one, and she knows exactly what a younger sibling really wants. If she were the older sister, she would have held back during fights, something her brother never does. She would have shared her snacks, something he never shares. She would have taught him tricks in games and helped him study, things he never does for her. She smiles sadly. Man, he was a terrible older brother. Even though he's technically the older sibling, he never truly fulfilled that role. But Yuka knows the real reason she feels this way. She's depressed, because she knows exactly what's coming. When Mino checks on her, something heartbreaking happens. Her eyesight has deteriorated so badly that she mistakes Mino for her brother. She scolds him. "Tsurugi, why did you come with me?" She insists she wasn't trying to act brave. She just didn't want her older brother to see her like this. Weak, broken, and afraid. She starts rambling. "You don't understand girls at all. You don't understand what a little sister feels." As she speaks, Mino realizes the truth. She isn't talking to him. She's talking to the brother she loves. Mino breaks down. He grabs her hand, crying, apologizing again and again, even though there's nothing he can do. This moment triggers a memory from Yuka's childhood. She once tried to save her friend, who was possessed by an ungraded, cursed spirit. She thought she could handle it alone. She couldn't. She lost her friend. Tsurugi arrived too late and was injured while saving her. He took Yuka's hand and quietly walked her home. Despite everything, despite the danger, despite his injuries, despite the possibility that her friend might have lived if he hadn't intervened, Tsurugi never blamed her. Not once. That memory lingers as the plane continues forward. In Tokyo, Dabura stands waiting. Suddenly, an elderly man appears before him, his face hidden beneath a hood. 3 children stand beside him. Crows swarm the sky around them. Dabura asks calmly, "Are you Earth's chosen warrior?" The man answers, "No. I'm simply an old man." He explains that he has come on behalf of Earth's Jujutsu sorcerers. Then he introduces himself. Yui, head of the new Shadow style. Yui thanks Dabura. He says that after Sukuna's defeat, peace dulled humanity's understanding of real power, of true violence, of fear. Dabura listens, unimpressed. "I cannot show my strength without a worthy opponent." Yui smiles. "Don't worry, your loneliness will soon be eased." And just like that, Yui vanishes, disappearing alongside his crows. The plane passes over the battlefield. The cargo door opens. Mino watches as Yuka falls from the aircraft. Her wheelchair shatters as she plummets downward. Tears stream down her face. In that moment, she changes her wish. "If I were born again, I'd want to be born as a younger sister again." She closes her eyes mid-fall. She thinks of her brother one last time. "If I were born again, I wish my older brother would be." The sentence never finishes. Yuka crashes into the battlefield. Like a missile, like a bomb, she lands before Dabura and says, "I'm sorry, Dabura." Then she raises her hands and chants, "With this treasure, I summon." She dives into the shadows. Just as the 8-handled sword divergent Scylla Divine General Mahoraga reemerges in the inhuman Makyo for the first time in 68 years. Mahoraga stands tall, monstrous, unchanged. The panel is overwhelming. Mahoraga has returned. Dabura reacts instantly. He launches into the air and unleashes a barrage of blinding beams. Mahoraga is struck from every direction. When the dust settles, the Shikigami is impaled from all sides. Dabura stands atop the beams of light looking down. The narrator explains Dabura's power. His curse techniques are an unpronounceable concept inherited through the Deskunte tribe, described as murderous intent given tangible form, light. The name of the first technique cannot be spoken by Earthlings. It is censored. Just like Sukuna's unrevealed techniques, Mahoraga cracks, blood pours from its body, but then the wheel begins to turn. It shatters the light piercing its head. For the first time in history, Mahoraga has begun adapting to an extraterrestrial curse technique. Chapter 15 ends here. Chapter 16 opens by explaining the 10 Shadows technique. The 10 Shadows technique is described as a sacred treasure of the ancient Zenin clan, a legendary cursed technique passed down through generations. It allows the user to summon Shikigami through shadows and is considered one of the strongest legacies of the Zenin bloodline. Currently, the use of this technique is strictly forbidden. Only Yuka was granted special permission to access a portion of its power. Among all 10 Shadow Shikigami, only one has never been fully controlled. The A-handled sword Divergent Scylla Divine General Mahoraga. Throughout history, no sorcerer has ever truly mastered it. The only exception was Sukuna, when he incarnated within Megumi Fushiguro. The narration clarifies something crucial. Mahoraga is not meant to be controlled. It exists for one purpose only, to drag down an enemy trapped inside the exorcism ritual, no matter the cost. And this time, two beings are bound inside that ritual. Yuka Okotsu and Dabura Koraba. The chapter reveals Yuka's terrifying condition. When she summoned Mahoraga, she sank into the shadows, entering a state described as suspended death. She is neither alive nor dead. The ritual will not end until one of two outcomes occurs: Dabura is killed or Mahoraga is completely destroyed. If Mahoraga is destroyed, Yuka's death is guaranteed. Until one of these outcomes occurs, the ritual cannot be stopped. This explains why the Gojo clan forbade Yuka from using the 10 Shadows technique in full. What she has done here is forbidden, even by elite standards. The fight resumes. Dabura hovers above the ruins. Mahoraga stands below. Mahoraga charges first, throwing a devastating punch. Dabura barely avoids it. The second strike connects, sending Dabura crashing through the city. Dabura retaliates immediately. He activates his curse technique. Its name is censored. Mahoraga's arm and part of its torso are obliterated. But we already know how Mahoraga works. As the wheel turns, Mahoraga regenerates. Once Mahoraga adapts to an attack, repeating it becomes useless. Dabura hurls an entire section of a building. Mahoraga catches it and detonates it instantly. Dabura begins analyzing. Summoned spirits are a uniquely human phenomenon, similar to cursed spirits, but fundamentally different. Mahoraga is not a mindless doll. There is something more to it. They vanish. A high-speed clash follows, too fast to track. Dabura releases his light technique again, this time in multiple simultaneous strikes. Mahoraga's upper body is completely erased, only its legs remain. The destruction mirrors Gojo's final battle. The wheel turns again, Mahoraga regenerates. Dabura grabs Mahoraga mid-regeneration and unleashes another barrage directly onto its head. Buildings collapse. The destruction is absurd, and yet, Mahoraga adapts. Dabura finally understands. Mahoraga is actively adapting to his technique. The narrator confirms, the Zenin clan's secret treasure, Divine General Mahoraga, adapts to all phenomena. Mahoraga prepares a counterattack, but the scene cuts away. We shift to Maru versus Tsurugi. Both clash with swords. Tsurugi notices Maru's weapon. "Oh, you use a sword too?" Maru answers, "This is Cross's sword." As the fight continues, Maru finally understands Tsurugi's power. Tsurugi possesses a heavenly restriction. No cursed energy, only a physical body refined beyond prediction. Without cursed energy, Tsurugi's movements cannot be sensed. Every attack is a surprise. Even with cursed energy and techniques, Maru struggles. Tsurugi dominates. A heavy strike sends Maru flying. Tsurugi demands that Maru tell Dabura to leave Earth. If Dabura leaves, the ritual ends and Yuka is saved. Maru refuses. If Dabura enters the curse's effective range, his sister will die. The black rope is no longer an option either. Tsurugi falls silent, then speaks coldly. "If I win, you leave Earth. This is a duel. You're a warrior, right?" Tsurugi opens his simple domain. Maru remembers the words he once said to Dabura, that Dabura had held back while fighting Dura. Now Maru finally understands how Dabura felt back then. With his brother's life hanging on the precipice of death, he feels the same fear. He's terrified of losing his friends. He doesn't want to kill anyone. Tsurugi prepares to finish the duel. That's when Maru makes his choice. He stops holding back. Maru declares, "The next attack I use is meant to kill you. Use whatever you want to survive." A terrifying aura erupts. For the first time, Maru fights without restraint. He finally reveals his cursed technique. Maru and Cross's cursed technique, chaos and harmony, the space around them begins to distort. Tsurugi panics. And with that, chapter 16 ends. And that's where Gege cuts us off. Not at a resolution, but at the moment everything becomes unavoidable. Chapters 15 and 16 aren't about escalation, they're about inevitability. A forbidden power is unleashed, not because it's strong, but because there was no other choice left. Yuka disappears into the shadows to buy time. Tsurugi draws his blade knowing he may have to kill to save her. From this point on, Modulo stops asking who's right. it starts asking what the cost is. So here's the real question. After everything that's been set in motion, can Yuka actually be saved? Or is this another case of Gege taking a fan favorite because that's when it hurts the most? Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next chapter breakdown.